Fancy.
Shut up, you.
I know, right? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special episode of the Highbury Squad. As you know, we love to bring you not only reactionary episodes to Arsenal's football season, but we also love to bring you stories, arcs and threads from many different Gooners from across the globe. I think one of the fondest and most wonderful memories that we've all had in a very difficult year of 2020 was winning the FA Cup again. But not only did we win the FA Cup, Arsenal Football Club took it to a completely different level of winning the FA Cup, knowing that this wasn't an easy time for many fans. So we're really proud that, you know, we were able to win another FA Cup, 2014, 15, 17, 2020. And as Arsenal fans, we cherish that trophy. But to actually have that magical trophy delivered to your home, in your own environment, your element of happiness is a totally different level. So joining me today for a Highbury Squad Evergreen episode that will last for ever and ever in eternity, because FA Cup memories are here. They never go away, is Amanda. Welcome to the show, Amanda.
Oh, I get called Amanda on this. This is a bit poor.
It's very official. All right. And then,
hello, Sophie.
Hello, welcome. But Super Kevin Campbell's always Super Kev.
Oh.
Hello, Soap. How you doing? Hi, Dave. Hi, Princess Gooner, PG.
Wait. Dave's the star of the show today, so don't steal his thunder, you guys.
I know, look at him. Steam rolling in as usual.
And then also joining us is a very special Gooner who is beloved by many and who has been following the Arsenal for a number of years. I'm not going to give his age away, okay? But Mr. Dave Seager, a round of applause. Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
So the FA Cup is just one of those trophies. I think when people talk about it in today's world, Dave, and they question about its relevance and they talk about narrowing the calendar and getting rid of stuff, you know, for Arsenal fans, I think it's just magical in so many different ways. This year was exceptionally magical because in our worst season, we really weren't expecting to win anything. So I'm just going to let you take it away, and then I'm going to let Casey and Amanda jump in because that's what they do. Just talk us through winning the FA Cup and then what happened next and why you in particular were one of the special folks that had a special delivery.
I'm not sure I actually know the answer to the second part, but I'll give it. Well, it was really unusual, I am of a Gooner of a certain age where the FA Cup's always going to be special, and a trophy's a trophy, but that is a very special trophy for Arsenal supporters, and it has been a lot, as you say, in recent years, and it wasn't expected at the end of the season. That said, the way we played in the semi-final and the way we were playing at the end of the season, I did have a fairly sneaky feeling after we beat Man City that we would dispose of Chelsea. So I was quietly confident on the day, but it's unusual when you're used to going to Wembley and it's that big build-up and drinking in the pub before the game and everything, which you're going to miss, you know, because you're not with the people you'd normally be with, because we don't all live, you know, together, do we? But we meet before a game. So I was not with the people I'd normally be with. I was with friends who were Arsenal supporters, don't get me wrong. But yeah, it was a special day. But what happened afterwards, it was just weird, really. I don't know why. All I know was I got a phone call from the events team on Monday morning, and they said, I don't even know they got my telephone number, to be honest. They just said, look, we're doing this thing where we want to get 14 fan stories. This was the catch thing. They said, we're going to get 14. They actually said well-known fans, which I questioned. So they're going to have 14 fan stories who've done things for the club or write about the club, just a mixture of well-known supporters. And we want to interview them about their different experience not being at Wembley and how they spent the day and the build-up and the aftermath. So I said, fine, and I arranged. They checked where I lived, and I told them, and I said, well, Tim Stillman's around the corner. I said, you could do Tim. They said he's on our list. But they said it was to do an interview. So that's what I was expecting. At 9:00 on Tuesday mornings, I was expecting someone from the events team to come with Stuart McFarlane. I was told that Stuart was coming to take the photos to go with the interview for the website magazine. I didn't know. So I knew nothing about the trophy. I don't think anyone did, to be honest. So on the morning when I was waiting, you know, by the door, just, you know, by the car, watch the car, because my wife was tutoring someone, so I had to make sure they didn't make any noise, and I saw a car pull up, or a van actually, and then I saw Stuart's car pull up, and obviously I know Stuart quite well. Stuart got out, and I said, "Oh, Stuart," and then I saw this guy who I didn't know get out of the van, go to the back of the van, open the back of the van. The next thing I know, he's standing there with the FA Cup outside the front of my house. So it was a complete surprise, complete shock. A very nice one, but a very pleasant surprise. So just took me through into the back garden. I'd already made myself a cuppa within this mug, just for the sake of it. And yeah, we went down the end of my garden, which I'm looking at now, and we sat and chatted a bit. But it was a photo shoot. There was no interview. And I said afterwards, I said, "What was the interview?" They said, "Well, we didn't want anyone to know we were coming with the FA Cup. We just wanted it to be a surprise."
It was kind of like Cilla Black, surprise, surprise, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was like one of those moments. Had you ever been in contact with the FA Cup before? Like, had you ever touched it before? Had you ever had one of those moments?
Years ago, because I work in financial services, I think when AXA was sponsoring the Cup, they did a bit of a tour of insurance companies and that sort of, and I think I touched it once. But I have to say, I'm not, I don't think I would, it's not decrying anyone who does, but I don't think I would travel to the Emirates to have a photo taken with it. And I wasn't expecting it, but the way it happened, it was special because it was so unexpected and it was a complete surprise. I don't think I would go just to stand next to it on a pedestal in the stadium. I don't think that would feel the same because, I don't know, it's just it was the complete surprise of it. And as you say, in my own environment, in my own home, with my dog, with my wife taking photos of me, that was the lovely thing, the complete surprise and the fact that it was brought to me rather than me having to go and queue up with lots of other people. So it was, yeah.
Wow. So
Cool.
having the FA Cup in your home, right? Amanda and KC, I'm thinking, okay, what's the first thing I do once I get it in my hands, right? In your mind, you want to fill it with champagne, drink from it, or do something like that. Were there any rules before we get to kind of like the first thing you thought of and did? Did they say, okay, here's what you can and can't do with it?
Because of COVID, and they said we'll go around the side because I've got a side gate. So I had the Arsenal mug in one hand, and they handed me the cup, and I was in that sort of Aubameyang situation. And I must admit, Kev will know because he's held it, but I didn't realise how heavy it was going to be. So I had it in one hand. I was walking down the side of the house, and it was sort of like I was sort of lopsided because I was holding, and it really was quite heavy. But then when I sat down on the bench, Stuart showed me something which I gather was a new edition from when Kevin would have picked it up, because I think maybe in 2014, after we won it for the first trophy in 9 years, there's a little catch inside the lid now.
Right.
So, they used to have the catch, on your head and the trophy, but now you can just turn it slightly.
You could lock it.
So the lid doesn't fall off anymore. So that was the first thing that Stuart told me. He said, Kev, just put it on and take it off, whatever you want to do. But we just took loads of silly photos. It was, it was good.
Okay, so it pulls up. They whip it out. Is it in a box? Is it, because I'm likening it to, for me, the two trophies that are comparable, the Stanley Cup in ice hockey here that's lived for hundreds of years, and what players do with it when they have the opportunity, but also how it's delivered. So when they deliver the Stanley Cup here to ice hockey players and stuff, and it's white gloves, big box, comes out, there it is.
Well, I didn't see it when they brought it out because they'd already started walking towards the house. When they left, I went back out with them. My next door neighbour's an Arsenal fan, so I knocked, and he came and had a photo with it as well. And then we walked back, and I saw it in the back of the van. There was like quite a large case with a couple of locks on it, like a silver case, with a black velvet lining. I think it was black or navy blue lining, and in two separate parts, like for the cup and for the base. They didn't bring the base in actually, so the base was still in the box when I went out, I think, from memory. Yeah, so it's like a big sort of a silver case with a couple of locks.
So Oba hadn't destroyed the base completely.
They were going off to do a couple of other fans, but also they were going to Woolwich dockyards and to Dial Square as well to sort of have photos there, the origins of the club.
I have to say, my bread and butter is PR. I've been a publicist in the entertainment industry for like 25 plus years, not showing my age, Dave. And Casey and Amanda, I mean, this is, for me, I think one of the greatest things the club have done. And everyone will hear from Maria eventually, but I've been speaking to Maria a lot about this as well. And Casey, as a player, there's always that fan-player connection. And what I loved about what Arsenal did was, in this really tricky time, and Dave's been through his own tricky times, and we all have. And to see like fans like Dave and Maria be rewarded with this moment, Casey, from a player point of view, knowing their stories as well, like it brought tears to my eyes, to be honest with you. And I know sometimes people say we're really emotional as fans, but it was definitely an emotional moment that I think that the club captured beautifully.
Yeah, it's Arsenal getting back to a little bit of class, if you ask me. I think that Arsenal have shot themselves in the foot a lot of the times on PR stuff, and this was a perfect way to reward the likes of Dave and Maria, etc., to get a nice surprise. And the nice surprise is it's private and it's at home, and you could enjoy it with your families, and you could take the pictures at you. You could even knock your neighbour. Now Dave's his favourite neighbour.
Who is
the
that
Guno
neighbour?
who's beside you, Dave. You know.
I'm sure I already was, to be honest. But
No, but you know that to be able to do that and surprise somebody like yourself, Dave and Maria, and everybody who got blessed with that opportunity. I'm so lucky as a player because, you know, Dave, you might not have wanted to queue up to take a picture. I would have been one of those queuing up to take my picture with the FA Cup, and I would have queued for hours because I just think these moments are so precious.
Yeah.
And sometimes you could take it for granted. Arsenal, we've won the most FA Cups and all that now. But to have a picture with silverware, we all know what the lot down the road. Listen, they'd be queuing for weeks to take a picture with the FA Cup. So, you know, I just think it's Arsenal getting back to a little bit of class.
And
I don't know what they're going to do with it because I still haven't. Because I know it was supposed to be like 14 individuals for 14 FA Cups, and obviously I think the day before they did quite a lot of people with players, didn't they? I think Ray Parlour did a few, Lee Dixon and Martin Keown.
Yeah.
And they were people who'd done work for Arsenal in the community during COVID, and some really far more deserving people. But I think at some point there's obviously going to be some. I don't know whether it's going to be a magazine or whether it's going to be one program. I don't know what it's going to be, but I don't see the point of doing it all if they're not going to make a big story out of it.
It should be like the Chicken Soup for the Soul short stories, but you know, FA Cup soul for Arsenal fans, because you know we've been so on our knees this year, and it's been so difficult. And there's a little bit of history here with some of the fans we have. Amanda and Dave, I think you've kind of been through a similar path as fans in terms of you lived through being super young, and that there were those magic moments in the early 70s. And of course, you know, as Arsenal progressed and then did not, and went through that really tricky time in the 80s, obviously before the George Graham years. And then, you know, what I say, and a lot of competitive fans say, you guys, is I just want to see my team win something, right? And I think we've been so spoiled that we want the Premier League so badly again. And I think that we were spoiled under Wenger, and he did magical things for our club. But when you think about where we've been as a club, Dave, especially 2014, I mentioned it at the start, 2014-15, 17-20, you beat Chelsea, you beat Manchester City. Did you ever think we'd win the FA Cup this year, let alone fast forward a couple of weeks later, the FA Cup's in your own backyard?
It's funny because I lost, as you know, I lost my son at the beginning of last year, who was obviously an Arsenal fan, and we shared a lot of Arsenal times together. In fact, 2015, we were at the final together, and you know, right back to when he was 10, we went to France, you know, to the Barcelona final together, last game at Highbury together. So been through a lot, but it sort of changes your whole context of football. So for me, when I see people getting irate on Twitter and social media, I can't anymore. You know, it's just, in the grand scheme of things, it's football. Doesn't mean I don't love us winning. Doesn't mean I don't want us to win. Doesn't mean I don't enjoy it when we do. But it doesn't have the same. It doesn't mean that much, or so I thought. But then when it happens, you know, for me, there's always that connection. Like when we beat Man United on the anniversary on January the 1st. You know, that was for Liam. You know, it's when we beat Chelsea, that was for Liam. When my first game back after Liam, when it was against Chelsea last February, that was for Liam. And so it changes. It's completely changed the way I view my relationship with football. And it's not better or worse. It's just different. So it's like everything now is a pleasant surprise. And Mikel Arteta has been a pleasant surprise from day one. And you know, and everyone says they knew he was going to be this good. You know, we didn't know. But you know, he's really getting me enjoying watching Arsenal again, which I probably didn't as much as I used to, shall we say, in the last 12 months.
Dave, was it like a cathartic moment for you? That moment too? I mean, that's a personal, you can share it with us or not, but I can only imagine that in that moment.
No, I've been writing, I write a lot about Arsenal anyway, but I've been writing a lot of poetry about me, Liam and Arsenal. I've been writing grief poetry, stuff that I haven't shared with anyone, but I did actually share a couple of poems that were on my phone with the guys I was with. In fact, Amanda knows one of them, Dave. She was at Anfield with it. So Dave, I was with Dave Goldberg and a couple of other friends, and yeah, they were in tears. So it was really massively emotional in the sort of moment that we won it and the celebration, and then in the hour afterwards when we're carrying on drinking in the pub, it became very, very emotional, to be honest. And after that, I don't remember much. Yeah, so no, it does have that. It does have that. It does change. It does change things, definitely.
I do think that, Dave, because we are of a certain age, the FA Cup will always mean something to us. I get so angry when I have fans of all clubs, including ours, saying, rather get fourth. Where is this fourth nonsense come from? I really don't know anyone in my circle and you know quite a few of the people I know, that would rather get fourth in Champions League than win the FA Cup or the League Cup or any other cup for that instance. We're in this to win cups, to win trophies. Let no one ever say the FA Cup doesn't mean anything. Yes, of course, we've won it 14 times. United, I think, have won it twice, and then it goes down to 8 apiece for a couple of other clubs. One we won't mention. But I feel that I'm in football. I want Arsenal to win everything. You don't win anything for coming second, third, or fourth. So when we were talking about this last week, I've got obviously people in my office. I've got friends, nothing to do with Twitter and stuff. They're like, "Oh yeah, it's the FA Cup," and I'm like, "Are you mental?" And I'm a bit like Kev. I cuddled the FA Cup. I can't remember. It was an AST event a couple of years ago. I had a picture done. Richard was with us, with me. He took a picture of me, and I actually did what Martinez did. I cuddled it. I was like, this is so exciting. The first time I ever remember us winning it was 1979, and I was at home when my dad was at Wembley, and I just feel I'm so excited. Again, as you mentioned about Mikel, that what he's brought to us. He wins the semi-final against the team that, well, top class. He beats Chelsea, and then we go and beat Liverpool. And I don't care what anyone says. Yes, we all know the Charity Shield is a friendly. Absolutely. Not a friendly, but yeah, but not a friendly, but where like, no, you're not going out there to lose. It doesn't really matter if you win it or not, but it did matter to us. At the beginning of the match, I was like, I don't care if we win. I'm not bothered.
The Liverpool players' faces,
yeah.
Seriously.
Oh, yeah.
If you look at the end of the match when we were celebrating, they were like really down and everything. And, I joked on Twitter that we're their bogey team now. And obviously a few Liverpool fans came for me because I haven't got a sense of humour. And I explained myself, it's funny. But at the end of the day, we're in this to win things. And I think what Arsenal did with you and 13 others was just fantastic. It really made me like well up. And I'll tell you what else. I was driving home from work tonight. And I'm like Dave, I'm thinking about going in the ballot. We'll talk about the ticket thing another time. And on came Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond. And I blasted it. I put the windows down even though it was raining. I welled up.
You didn't sing, did you? Didn't ruin it for everyone.
Sung. Don't worry, no one could hear anything. The radio was so loud. And I got onto my drive and I was so emotional because I thought, if you don't get it, you don't get it. And that's it. That is it for me. Football fans get it. Non-football fans go, well, you can't go to the ground because of the. I miss it so much, unbelievably so much. And not only just the 90 minutes of football, it's the before, it's everything. And I'm able to come on a podcast and say, oh, I sat in this, I saw him at the ground today, and we're missing everything. So I think how amazing for Arsenal to do that. And honestly, Dave, your face must have been an absolute picture, because if they'd have turned up at my house, I don't know what I'd have done. I can imagine there would have been, God knows, I would have just cuddled it. Could you imagine? I don't know, but my neighbours are Arsenal. And I would have got the kids in from next door if they were here, because they would have just gone mental. But I think it's fabulous, and I'm really pleased it happened for you, Dave. I really, really am, because, you haven't had a great time, have you? And I know it's, poignant for Liam and everything. And I'm pleased they chose you. I really am. And I'm pleased that you had that. That you had the FA Cup in your house.
I think, I don't know. Maybe that's why they chose me. I don't know. I probably never know. I don't know who made the decision. So maybe I'll find out one.
It's lovely.
But even if they did, it's beautiful. It's such a beautiful, gesture. And
well, they were class. They were class. At the end of last season, I don't know if you were at the last game, but they do that thing where they make up the canon with the names of all the people who lost their lives during the season. And Andy actually put Liam's name in twice. No one else has ever been in twice. He had it on the end of the cannon and in the wheel. And I've got they sent me the original artwork of that. Nice. Got a letter from Lauren Koscielny straight afterwards. The club have been amazing.
That's wonderful. This is why I wanted to get Dave's side, because it's just wonderful. Like, football is more than just going to a game, right?
100%.
It is part of our soul. We make friends, lifelong friends. We have moments, our memories, our life memories. They can all go back to football games, seasons, specific matches. And the fact that, that you've loved Arsenal for so long, Dave, and then you introduced your son to Arsenal, and that you guys both had these wonderful memories together. And then to arc that with the FA Cup coming to your home, I just think it's one of the most beautiful things I've seen Arsenal Football Club do, which is why I kept like, hey, can we talk? Can we talk? Can we talk? So I want to know, like, when you first got it, like, were you pretending to be an Arsenal captain right up there holding it aloft? Like, what were you thinking?
I think looking back, I should have done all these things. I'm just too bloody unselfish. I was like, oh, you're on a tight schedule, you're running late, you need to get somewhere else. I definitely, I did hold it above my head for a photo. I mean, Stuart sent me about 8 of the photos. He must have taken hundreds, but he sent me the 8 he chose. And obviously my wife took a load on her phone. So, but I think we were doing things like getting my dog in, trying to get my dog in the photos, because he's nearly 50. It's not been this forever. And just silly things that weren't really football related, to be honest. I should have been doing much more, pretending to be a captain, lifting the trophy. And now you've said that, I should have been, but I don't think I did. I was just set on I had it, definitely had it above my head at one point. And had
Dave,
You made the most of it, Dave.
Yeah, I did, yeah.
How long were they there for, Dave?
Well, we were chatting quite a lot with Stuart, and obviously I know Stuart quite well. We even after they left, we were chatting at the end of the drive for, I'd say, probably 25 minutes, 30 minutes maybe.
Oh,
they were due to be with me at 9, and they were due to be with Tim at 10. And I don't think they got a bit. I don't think they left me till about 10 to 10. And then
I've always wanted to meet Stuart. Is Stuart a nice guy?
Really nice guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I always wanted to meet him. I love his pictures.
He takes some great photos, doesn't he? But, yeah. So no, I think he was. I guess he was quite chuffed, because obviously he knows the situation, and he was beaming when he walked towards the house. So that was nice. Yeah, it's really.
That's very cool, Dave. Before we let you go, what would you like Arsenal fans to know? Number one, about your experience. Number two, about the fact that we've won another FA Cup. We've also been the team that, in the last 5 of 6, I think it is, the FA Cup winners have beaten the champions, and 4 of those have been the Gunners. So before we leave, what would you like Arsenal fans to know about your experience?
Of Arsenal?
Of that, and then also a little bit, like, in a nutshell, Arteta and what your hope is.
Well, I mean, I've written a couple of things recently about it, and I've got so much confidence in Mikel Arteta. And that's the expression that came from the cycling guys, and marginal gains. And every time you hear a new thing, or you see a new thing, it's a new coach been appointed just for this, or a new coach, the Brentford guy, Georgeson, just for set pieces, which have been all for that for years. You've got a psychological coach who's a sports scientist who's going to produce individual plans for individual players. And what I like about Arteta is, whilst he's definitely the person at the fulcrum of it all, and the person making the decisions, he's not frightened to bring in people like Steve Round, who used to be his coach when he was a player at Everton. I mean, I'm sure Kevin knows Steve Round, more experienced than him. He's completely confident in his own self. He knows what he needs, knows what he wants, and he just gets it organised. And that's the complete antithesis of latter-day Arsene Wenger, where he wouldn't listen to anyone, he wouldn't bring in anyone to help him. You know, I used to look at Ferguson; he always changed it up, and I see that. I see that in Arteta. And you look at the players like Sane, like Sterling, who players doubled in value in 3 years working with Arteta, and it's them saying that, and Guardiola saying that. You know, so, and everyone you talk to at Arsenal feels exactly the same about him. So I just think we haven't got the money. But I think if I trust anyone to allow us to compete with the teams that have got the money, right now I'm putting my faith in Mikel Arteta. I've got so much. I'm so excited about the football. Given a bit of money, given a few extra players, I think so much can happen. But for me, it's now about, I would say enjoying going to games again. It's about enjoying watching Arsenal again. You know, if we get the result, that's a massive bonus. And as Amanda says, it is all about winning ultimately. But right now, in my context of life, it's about enjoying watching football again.
Yeah.
I wasn't enjoying it under Emery. I wasn't enjoying it in the last days of Arsene Wenger. There were obviously great days. But I just want to enjoy watching Arsenal every week. And then I'm even enjoying watching tactical, boring Arsenal, the way Arteta sets us up on the break, because it's brilliant to watch. It's football. And, you know, what we need to add is the flair against the lesser sides, which I'm sure we'll see this season. So, yeah, I'm mega excited. And I'm sure 14th will not be our last FA Cup.
No. Well, listen, we want to thank you for spending your time with us today. We love your story. And we know that through your experience of having the FA Cup in your home, that your son was definitely enjoying that, Dave. And it's just a beautiful story all the way around. And we're so grateful that you shared it with us. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
And
thank you very much for inviting me.
Yeah, we'll have you on again soon this season to talk a little bit more about how much you're enjoying Arteta football.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Dave. Thanks for sharing, mate. Cheers.
Yeah,
Cheers,
take
Dave.
care. Bye.
Bye.